Infobox.
Do you desire to work in an international organization where your true potentials could be explored? Think no further as the West African Examinations Council (Waec) invites applications from the general public on several positions of expertise: public affairs officers, pharmacists, medical doctors, educationists, legal officers, programmers, human resource officers, and subject officers. How to apply? Interested and qualified candidates should obtain application forms from Waec National Office Yaba or any Waec Zonal Branch Office across the country, or visit www.waecheadquartersgh.org to download application form. Completed applications forms should be addressed to the Registrar, the West African Examinations Council, Headquarters, Accra, Ghana, and submit to the Head of National Office, Yaba, Lagos. Remember to attention, Deputy Director, Human Resource Manager, Headquarters, Accra. Note, only short-listed candidates will be contacted. Hello, my name is Daphne. Welcome to Waec Infobox. This is a public enlightenment and educative program about the activities of the West African Examinations Council (Waec). Last week, we informed you about the introduction of cyberpems into Waec's script marking process. Today, we bring you Waec's conventional and electronic marking process of the just concluded May-June 2015 examinations. Stay tuned. I'll be right back after the news and innovation segment. Waec introduces attestation of results. In a bid to ease the pressure on candidates with damaged Waec certificates, management of the West African Examinations Council (Waec) has introduced a new form of certificate identification known as attestation of results. Speaking on the significance of the attestation of results, Waec Acting Head of Computer Services, Mr. Magnus Omorige, says the innovation was imminent due to the rate of complaints received by Waec on damaged certificates.
Waec management recently introduced the attestation result for candidates who, for no fault of theirs, have lost their original certificates and they need an authentic version of a document that will back up their certificates. In the course of this, management now issued them the Waec attestation result, which serve almost the same purpose that is served by the certificate, and should be honored by all who the certificate is presented to. The security features that are present in this attestation results is also the same thing as what we have in our certificates, if it is viewed under a high-powered device.
In addition, Omorige says Waec does not issue certificates twice. Hence, the attestation of results will provide succor to candidates who have had their certificates damaged due to unforeseen circumstances. Waec introduces official certificate cover. The head of National Office of the West African Examinations Council (Waec) Nigeria, Mr. Charles Iguridu, has called on old and intending candidates of Waec to take advantage of the new certificate cover introduced by the council to safeguard their certificates. Iguridu gave the charge while speaking with Waec Infobox crew in his office at the council's national office in Yaba, Lagos. Iguridu says although not compulsory, the introduction of the durable and specialized Waec certificate cover is to prevent possible damages that may be inflicted on candidate certificates.
The introduction of certificate cover is a new concept we embrace, and the certificate we issue is a lifelong document, and we want to ensure that the integrity of that certificate is not compromised. So we felt that we should get this certificate cover to protect the document, because we find that a number of candidates do laminate their certificates, and after some time they get disrupted in a way. We now spoke with key stakeholders, and we came up with this concept. It's affordable. It's not something we are doing it as part of our responsibility to candidates. It's quite affordable.
As the new Nigerian president gathers his cabinet, on our opinion segment, Ibrahim Adejumo goes out on the streets to find out the public's expectation from President Muhammadu Buhari on education.
Really, we expect Buhari to do well for our education because he's promised us that we're doing our education very well.
Improve the standard of education, like, paying workers on time, giving out textbooks, well-trained teachers, and things like that.
So I expect President Buhari to raise the standard of education for public schools to be equal to private schools, because it's really obvious the difference in academic performance from a private student when compared to a public school student.
I think the president should just try to improve the education aspects, maybe get more teachers, qualified teachers and lecturers, and the facilities should be improved too.
Well, I believe education is more like the foundational thing for every human being on this present earth. So I want a situation where our president could invest so much in the educational system, so that the young ones coming up will have enough information to be able to meet up with the labor markets in our system.
To reduce the school fees.
Wow, very high expectations from the public. Well, our fingers are definitely crossed. Now we go to a special feature to reveal to you the ongoing marking process of the just concluded May-June 2015 examinations. Relax, stay tuned. I'll be right back. One of the major tasks of the West African Examinations Council (Waec) is the coordination of marking exercise after the vigorous conduct of the Council's examinations. This coordination starts shortly after the last paper of a particular diet has been taken, with results expected to be released 90 days after the last final paper. Waec is a body that prides itself as the foremost examining body across the Atlantic coast, hence stops at nothing to ensure sanity of the marking process. A visit to one of the traditional marking centers of the May-June 2015 WASC in Lagos shows how Waec unequivocally maintains quality of the marking exercise.
First of all, this is Surulere marking venue, AUD marking venue. This is the room where we keep our subject officers. We are marking about 18 subjects here.
Just like the conduct of examinations, Waec adopts the services of examiners who are teachers of the 77 subjects that Waec examines.
My name is I'm Reverend Abayomi Ogunkorode. I'm a trained artist. I'm a teacher and at the same time a clergyman. Paper 3C is the crafts aspect of it, which the question must have been given to the students weeks before they submit it. So they have to look at the question, then source for the materials, and then do what they are supposed to do. So while they are doing it, they are supposed to do it under the guidance of their teacher in school, and they are going to write down the processes, and that is what forms the short note that they will submit along with whatever they might have produced, either in ceramics, textile, craft, or sculpture.
The visual art, just as the normal paper scripts, is also marked and allotted marks. We have, for instance, this one is a sculpture of a mother and child. It's mounted on a cardboard, and the marks are so allotted.
The one that I'm holding right away is textile. So the question is for them to produce an applique suitable for bedspread. You can see that the candidate is so clever that he has used a dyed material and then used color in order to bring out the color form.
We're taken through the marking processes from distribution of answer scripts to subject officers or examiners for marking, to checkers who cross-examine the marked script for marking error.
Like this, my madam now, Mrs. Salako, she's handling government 2 and computer practical 3. I have Mrs. Popola here handling chemistry 2. Mr. Bello Adeniran here, Adesoya, handling about 4 subjects. That is literature 2, visual art 2, leather goods, and woodwork 2 here. Mr. Okay, they are reading OMR with their examiners. He's handling chemistry 3. I have Mrs. Obawaludo here. She's handling geography 2 and CRS and technical drawing 2. Mrs. Ifenkwe, she's handling literature in English 3, woodwork 3, and painting and decorating 3.
Once the examiner finishes marking the script, they give it to the supporting staff, which cross-check. Maybe the one they collected is equivalent to the one they are returning. And after that has been done, the script will now be passed to me for checker to go through, probably in the process of marking. The examiner has made one error or the other. Now I have what I call the script control file, where the scripts are being controlled. The one you submit your parcel, I write the subject code, the examiner, the number of scripts submitted, and the number of packets that can be found inside the examiner parcel.
The checkers cross-check the examiner's marked script with subject officers to ensure accuracy of scores. Also, to quality control the marking exercise, the examiners read out OMR to ascertain the accuracy of the marks shaded before the particular subject is approved.
The purpose of the checkers, no one is perfect. They can make one error or the other, like error of addition, subtraction, transfer error. Those are the errors being looked for by the checkers.
The duty performed there is to quality control the checking of the marks. The marks on the scripts and also on the mark sheets as recorded by the examiners.
Contrary to the erroneous belief of a large part of the public who think Waec intentionally fails candidates in the cause of scripts marking exercise, Waec does not mark examination. These examiners who teach students are the one who mark candidates' answer scripts.
I am Alhaji Adekunle Yusuf. Waec Infobox is educative, informative, and entertaining. Keep watching.
Are you a candidate seeking to write the November-December 2015 Waec examinations? Are you a parent hoping to enroll your ward for the November-December 2015 Waec? This is to inform you that the sale of form for the 2015 November-December dial is already on. Visit any bank or recognized Waec outlets around you to purchase the form.
Next up, we continue our documentary series focusing on the reason for continuous decline of student performances in public examinations. You definitely want to see this, so stay tuned.
In spite of these very stringent and meticulous procedures, many people hold the opinion that Waec manipulates the process to fail candidates in order that the candidates will re-register.
Another factor is the issue of instructional materials. The facilities are not there. Most public schools do not have the required textbooks, the required materials, the required teaching materials are not there. You find a teacher teaching English language with more than 50–60% of the students without a textbook, without the text to read. There's nothing to give assignment on for them to read back home and return. If you're teaching mathematics, there are no textbooks, there are no mathematics equipments,
instruments to use. So these are all the factors that have come to play.
Parents also have a share of the blame. How disciplined are the parents? What is their own attitude to work? What's their attitude towards the children? Do they look after these children? When we were kids, when we came back from school, our parents would sit us down with our exercise books. My father then would go, even though he was a businessman, but he would go through my, exercise book almost on a daily basis to know what we have done, to tell me what I didn't do right, to tell me, to encourage me. And so you look forward to daddy looking at your books, so you must make sure from school you've also done a good job so that you're not sanctioned and all that. So, but you find out that parents now are too busy, with all sorts of things, and of course making money to make sure that the children are comfortable. And when I talk to mothers in different programs I do, volunteer programs I do, I tell them, many parents are busy going to make money for the children without following with the children, on a daily basis in their development. And by the time you make that money, you had already lost the child. So the money now also becomes a cost rather than a blessing. The same children are no longer there to use that money. And then whatever they had become will now make your money meaningless. So parents must also know how to manage their time, how to manage, their jobs and in relation to family. Because with young children, you must give them closed marking. If you don't give children closed marking, they will outsmart you. And children have a way of outsmarting parents.
So if the delivery of knowledge declines in the classroom, Waec is not responsible technically, because what is required in the school is to cover the syllabus. Waec will not be in every classroom to know whether the syllabus has been covered or not. But they have the syllabus to draw the question papers, to examine you on the syllabus which is made available to Waec by the education policy makers to examine the students. So if the students are not prepared, they are not made to be ready to take the exam, it's not the fault of Waec.
Waec is therefore a mirror. A good mirror reflects back to you your exact look or perfect condition, no more, no less.
Waec's golden promise is that we'll continue to remain Africa's foremost examination board. Like a good mirror, we'll always tell Nigerians the truth. We'll project correctly to the Nigerian public the quality of teaching and learning taking place in the school. No matter the outcry, we will not falsify our grades to win public applause. We will rather stand true and tall to the principle of scholarship.
In part 2 of this documentary film, we shall explore how to remedy the situation and project what must be done urgently to reverse the trend of declining performance in Waec and other examinations.
You are watching Waec Infobox. Keep watching.
Do you desire to work in an international organization where your true potentials could be explored? Think no further as the West African Examinations Council (Waec) invites applications from the general public on several positions of expertise: public affairs officers, pharmacists, medical doctors, educationists, legal officers, programmers, human resource officers, and subject officers. How to apply? Interested and qualified candidates should obtain application forms from Waec National Office Yaba or any Waec Zonal Branch Office across the country, or visit www.wacheadquartersgh.org to download application form. Completed applications forms should be addressed to the Registrar, the West African Examinations Council, Headquarters, Accra, Ghana, and submit to the Head of National Office, Yaba, Lagos. Remember to attention, Deputy Director, Human Resource Manager, Headquarters, Accra. Note, only short-listed candidates will be contacted. We hope you enjoyed that. Next up is my favorite segment, where we take your inquiries, comments, or suggestions. So stay tuned and watch your comment pop up on the screen. I'll be right back.
We usually release results
major results in August, then November, December, in December, and it's usually 90 days from the last paper. So when you calculate it, these results will be released maybe 3rd week of August. The major results will be released 2nd or 3rd week of August. We're already marking now, so the results will be released in August this year. We don't issue certificates twice, except the certificate was burnt. Maybe there was a fire outbreak where the person was living, the candidate was living, and we can actually see the pieces. But as long as we, as a council, knows that this certificate is somewhere, we cannot issue it twice. So we advise that candidates to go and get an attestation of results, which can also stand as a certificate. Or, as the case may be, you can apply for confirmation of results, maybe to an embassy or a school abroad. You can apply for result confirmation, which we send to the organization without it passing through that candidate.
And this is where we wrap up today's episode. Don't forget you can send us your comments, questions and suggestions at waecinfobox@gmail.com, or you can like us on Facebook at www.facebook.com/waecng, or follow us on Twitter at Waec Nigeria. Don't forget, Waec is saying read, prepare and pass your examinations and be tomorrow's future leaders. My name is Daphne. See you same time next week. Bye-bye.